Hey, welcome to Roleplay Cafe. This is Dale here. First of all, hopefully everybody had a grand holiday season and Happy New Year. I did myself, so hopefully everybody else did as well. But we're back in the saddle, and the inaugural game, start off 2023, was session 25 of Joth. This session was a little bit, it had Todd was running it, of course, and David and I were playing, I was playing Trotter Fingersmith, and David was playing Lauren. And the setting here is in Blackfish Bay. We started out on the dock of Shenanigans, which is the old tavern, Mossy Moon, that Ignatius had purchased and set up shop. And but we're outside, and if you've seen Jason's, I think, Thanksgiving recap, session 24, in which he tells how Trotter stumbled into, was the lucky one and made it out with his purse a little bit heavier. Well, actually, a good bit heavier. And so we find Trotter and Lauren on the dock of Shenanigans, witnessing the display of lights, the demon lights from the center of the Lake of Talons that rise up below the talon-like fingers, as it were, that stretch up out of the center of the lake. And it's a little bit like witnessing the Aurora Borealis, possibly. But we were pretty, having our ale and whatnot. And Lauren's a little bit, he's low on cash, which Trotter isn't. And Trotter's low on audience too. He's long-winded, of course. So, he's sitting there smoking his Brigit's Bottom pipeweed, the good stuff, and regaling Lauren of his tales, and Lauren's weathering the stories, which he's probably heard, several times by now on loop. But Trotter's filling his cup, and they're enjoying the lights. They notice a stranger standing behind them, with a cowled stranger. He has some kind of a green clasp that Trotter pays no mind to, but Lauren definitely does. But Trotter bids him come sit down and view the lights with him and listen to his tale. And he wants to bring more into the fold, right? So the stranger does. He sits down, and we commence talking about what's going on. And the stranger mentions about the Well Witch, which she has been brought into the area and is about to, in 2 days' time, about to set a portal to Joth directly. So she's gonna have a well that there's gonna be more burgeoning traffic coming through and whatnot, which is great for Trotter, because he has his little concept of what he wants to do to make a little bit of extra coin off of this influx of new travelers coming through Blackfish Bay. So he sees it as quite lucrative. So but this traveler, well, I should say that, when he starts talking, he wants some privacy, to go into more details about what, because Trotter at first is like, just dismayed. He's like, no, we can't stop this. This is going to be wonderful, whatever. And the stranger wants some privacy, and then Trotter gets up and pays off Ignatius for a room in the back where they can have a little privacy and talk about the situation. And we all go to the back. Lauren bids Ignatius to send the bar winch back and keep the tankards full, which he does. So when we start talking in the back room, he wishes us to go parlay with the witch and see in whatever means, not necessarily talking to him, but we must slow it down at least minimum for a month. And I'm like, why? Why is this necessary? He seems to think that it's going to let in all kind of rabble and thieves and cutthroats and whatnot into the city, and he's concerned about this, and he wants to do it. Well, Trotter pays no mind. Lauren is looking for the more lucrative side too. So we're like, okay, well, we see no reason why another month would hurt. Trotter's thinking, well, that would give me more time to set up business and not be so rushed. As long as this fella can pay me enough to make it worth my while to hold off a month, because, I could have my cake and eat it too. So we bargain back and forth, and he opts to pay us, I believe, 200 gold apiece. So we haggle it, and Lauren does some leveraging of his own. And, over in the corner, I tell, before at a period of time, I consult with Lauren and let him know that we can do this. We don't have to, Lauren was concerned about, because the well witch is we know that she's northeast of town in the wood with, the Longtooth, and they are competent, warriors or huntsmen. We don't need to raise their ire. So, but I'm saying, like, we can work this. So what we decide to do is the next morning, because the sheriff, Ferris, isn't anywhere to be seen in the bar or around, and we sleep it off. Next morning, early in the morning, banging on the sheriff's door. He's already stressed as it is. His face looks like a tomato about to burst, and he's constantly acid reflux and whatnot as he's sitting there, and I'm trying to. He's nervous when we put forth the idea of going to the well witch to see if she will delay, implementation of the portal to Joth for at least a month. And he doesn't want to go up against her. So we say that if he deputizes us, that we can go speak on his behalf and the town's behalf, because this will, he doesn't, even though last night the festivities of watching the demon lights, was fairly peaceful. He still has to, he's got this dragon to deal with, the sheriff does, and anything in town, he would need to hire more deputies, more mercenaries, as such, to keep the peace around town. So, not to mention what would be coming through the town, bulging this out. So it's in his interest too. We plead with him, say, look at the logic of this. So he relents, and, he pulls some money out the coffers, and, 25 silver a piece to go, together to go speak with her. He deputizes us, on behalf of the town. And so it's official. We head that way. And, I take along Applejack, my horse, my pony, and Dalen, the boy. He leads us, and Lauren is footing it. We get somewhat close to the, to the outliers of the forest that we know that she's held up in. And we see off in the distance it looks like two hounds or two wolves or two black shaggy beasts with glowing eyes. Now these beasts are at least, these hounds are at least 4 foot tall. So they can swallow a halfling whole. That's what Trotter's thinking. Even though he's on his pony, maybe can he outrun these things? They're a little bit off. They seem to be loping toward us, and then they slow down. Poor Trotter. He pulls up Dalen on the back of his pony and sets off at a high speed, trying to breach in between and make it to the wood, and maybe he can outrun him. That's what he's thinking. And he's not too much thinking about Lauren at this time. He's trying to save his own skin, I suppose. But anyway, he cuts off the run. They stop in a way, and they watch him, and he passes between them and a little bit past, and Dalen notices that they're not following, and they're just sitting watching pass. And they've been barking at each other. It seems that they've been talking almost eerily enough, when we first witnessed them. So we go here, and Dalen, Trotter reluctantly pulls on his reins, and then looks over his head, and they're just sitting there, and Lauren's still back, but he's trying to flank and go out to the right. So I take Applejack and, in an arc to meet him halfway to see what's going on. They're not really moving. They start coming toward us, and Lauren, I think he's got his, I believe he has a bow this time. They get close to us, and they speak, which kind of throws us off. And they want to know where the golden fox is. Trotter can't recollect or put together what exactly they're speaking of, even though he does have a buckler with a fox engraved on it, and he has probably seen Ignatius wearing his fox skin cap. It doesn't click. So he answers honestly no. Lauren, answers no too. And I think he had an inclination of what they were speaking of. But they sniff around us, and then David says, "Where should we, if we find this, what should we do? If you're looking for it, what should we do?" And he said, "Come to the crossroads and let us know." And then Trotter pipes up, regrettably, as it's halfway out of his mouth, "What's in it for us?" And the wolf snaps at him, not taking anything off, but more like a quick snap and growl, and "Your life is what's in it for you." So, Trotter pulls back a little bit and shuts up, and a moment later, we see two figures off in the distance on the rise, and they whistle to the wolves, or the hounds, and then the hounds get quiet, turn around, and run off. So we got our orders. So anyway, we resume our trek back into the woods. We get there, and I asked to speak with the leader of the Longtooth, and I beseech him that this territory, if that there are other hunters that are in their territory, and they should be aware of this, as well as they have to be. So I put them on the lookout. They don't really take the bait. They don't go after it. They don't break, because they're constructing a hunter's lodge right now. So they say, and then I end up asking, and David, I believe Lauren asked where the witch is. May we speak to her? So they lead us there to her tent, and she sees us, and Trotter tries to speak, and he's dressed in finery. He's got his little dinner jacket on, and he's with little lapels. He's all buttoned up and puffing up, and got his thumbs underneath the lapels and pushing them out, and he's a representative, right? Because we got these little red ribbons that show that we're deputized, and he bows to her and kneels, and then says, "My lady, we are under jurisdiction of the land here from Blackfish Bay, and we come asking you to delay your thing." Well, she's not impressed. She's not impressed. She's already a month behind. She doesn't want to, her sisters, the sisterhood, she can't disappoint them, so she needs to get on with it. This is when Lauren, produces the paperwork that we had Ferris sign up for us. That shows that we are legal representations and shows what the town would like. And with this paperwork, it catches her off guard a little bit. She's a really young, we're probably about 21 years old, but she's not seasoned enough to know legalities and know her where she would stand on what grounds she stands in that aspect. So she buckles a little bit. And, he presses, more of a threatening manner, not so subservient like Trotter did. And, she relents. And then she admits that, she's been having difficulties finding a suitable, pool to set up the portal to Joth. And then, Lauren suggests that perhaps we could, since we are have jurisdiction over the land here and maybe contacts, we could possibly find an area. This at a certain point, it occurs to Trotter where there might be an optimal place to put her portal. And that is in Brickett's Bottom, which is more of a northward trek to where the current location is, north of the wood. And there is a deep, placid, well-like pool in the center of Brickett's Bottom. So, after that little epiphany, there was screams outside and some ruckus. We go outside, open the tent flap and look. And when we had first entered, there was some cages, and we could tell there were cages, but they were covered and there was some movement underneath them. But one of the cages is broken loose, and there was essentially an owl bear had broken out. And that's where we left it on that cliffhanger. So session 26 would pick up there, according to Todd, and anybody who wants to join. So this was a preliminary setup situation for the direction that we're heading and what, with a little bit of we still don't know, and we didn't inquire to any depth what this stranger, where he was from, why he wanted. All we was interested to do was if he had enough, if it was in our personal interest and he had enough coin, if he could grease our palms enough to make it worth it, no harm, no foul, if we could do it without bloodshed, if we could be crafty enough, which we did. So I don't know which way that's going to go. And Trotter's really not necessarily, he doesn't care. Neither does Lauren, it seems. So, but it's, as far as what may be going on in the background, I have no clue. And I have no clue, but we definitely know something is in place there. We have to find a suitable pool, which seems to be in Brickett's Bottom, for her to set up, a portal to Joth. And, but right immediately we have to deal with this owlbear situation. But there are long tooth on hand. So anyway, that's the recap of session 25 of Joth, and very enjoyable. It was more so role play and opportunities to play and develop characters and have that interplay, which was enjoyable. I think it was about 2 hours or so we played. Had a little bit of chat in the background. It's a shame that my audio wasn't working. I need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Jay, if you was there, you'd have probably caught it and recorded it correctly. So, but nevertheless, it is what it is. And, it seems to be, it's an interesting situation that we can start off, in session 26 for us. So, anyway, looking forward to it. Great little session, great little way to kick off the new year. Aside from that, welcome back, Jason. I know you get snowed in. I saw your video a little bit ago. And we are We won't get to play, we'll have to do Discord, but we won't get to play this coming Saturday, which I'd hope as far as Dark Age Man, which would be tomorrow. So maybe we can do it on the 14th or 21st. So we'll get on Discord and hash that out. But I'm really looking forward to that too. And that'll be session 3 of Dark Age Man, Chronicles of 4. So yeah, definitely going to be something to look forward to, as well as the whole coming year. As a little side note, I'd be more than happy. I think it's interesting to play a boxing role-playing game. I know we've spoken before about a role-playing game that, where death wouldn't be, as far as a major aspect of it. You're not playing just to survive like that, but you're role-playing in a situation where you're trying to, manage life, or trying to get through things, or trying to accomplish something without that. So that, in effect, I'd like to see where that goes. As a single boxer doing a career, just trying to get where it's going. I thought it was interesting when you were speaking about it, about, like somebody could be the manager, somebody could be the trainer, somebody could be the promoter, somebody could be the boxer herself. Who knows? The GM, I'm still, questioning that, but it's going to be interesting to see, you play it and, realizing what the engine offers. But it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. I'll be up for it. Anyway, I'll let everybody go right now, and, I'll see you at the table.